Hey everyone, Sheila here from Life for Pets. So today we're going to be doing a cleaning on the 125 gallon, and while we're doing it I want to talk about whether you should deep clean your tank and exactly what that means. Before I start, I just want to do a quick update on the houseplants in the aquarium. As you can see, they are doing really well. The roots have taken into the substrate and the plants are really healthy and they're growing really nicely, so very pleased with the outcome of that. We're also going to do an update on the artificial grass that we put in the tank, how we clean it. We're going to take some out and take a look at the back and see how it held up. As you can see, our barbs are still making a terrible mess of the Anubias, so we're also going to tidy all that up, and you can see a lot of floating debris in the tank as well, and we suspect that our canister filter is in desperate need of a good clean, so we're also going to do that as well. So while we're doing all this, like I said, I am going to talk about whether you should deep clean and just what we do. Everyone does do it different, and so we're just going to talk about that as we do the cleaning. So to start off the cleaning, we're going to get the siphon going, and I know a lot of people have trouble with this. So you take it in at an angle, you lift it back up, the water runs down, put it back in at the same angle and then tip it up, and then you've got a running siphon. It really is that easy. We're very fortunate in the siphon can run out of the house, so we don't need to mess around with buckets and lugging water around. This tank is in desperate need of a clean. We do 50% water changes on it every week, and we do go round and vacuum it, but like I say, I suspect that the canister filter it's not actually overdue, but this tank is fairly heavily stocked, and we do find that a lot of the debris does get caught up in here. Some of that can be from low water flow. So as you can see, we do actually have a power head there on the left of the screen, and we do turn that on, and that then kicks up all the debris in the tank, and the canister filter can then pick it up. We don't leave it on all the time because sometimes the fish do find it too strong, so we sort of usually put it on for a few hours each day, and that is about it. You can see here that the fake grass really collects a lot of the fish waste, and I want to say uneaten food, but in this tank I really don't think we get any uneaten food. So this again will be mulm and the fish waste. The grass has held up really well, and it is very easy to clean. As you can see, all you need to do is go over the top of it, and we are going to check the back of it. This is the first time we've done it. It's been in the tank now, I think it's about 3.5 months, so it has been in a while, and the back of it is absolutely fine. As you can see, I mean, the grass is meant for getting wet and that sort of thing. Whether it's meant to be wet continuously, that was something that we were a little worried about, although this one was actually advertised for aquariums. I will leave links to it in the description box below if you are interested. What we have done periodically, if it has got sort of a level of algae on it, is use a toothbrush, and that has then just brought it back up, and also it does pull up the grass so that it stands up a little better as well. Thankfully, our clown barbs have decided to leave that alone. They haven't pulled it up at all, and we haven't ended up with any of it floating around the tank either, so it has been very safe. We've not lost any fish or anything like that, so it has been okay in the tank. We do get quite a bit of algae in this tank. This tank's been set up now for, I think it's 6 months, and we're still sort of getting a fair amount. We've tried all sorts of changing the lighting, lower lighting, higher lighting, the hours of the lighting, but we still do get a fair amount. Unfortunately, snails don't last very long in here because of the pufferfish, and so we do just periodically go through and use a toothbrush to scrape it off. So to do the canister filter, we have to take out some of the water from the tank so that we can clean the pads that are in the filter. So we've just done that, and then we go over the glass. We do the glass every time we clean the tank. We use a magnet algae scraper, and these are brilliant. It is so much better than sort of trying to get in there with a cloth and your hands are soaking wet. This is just really easy, going backwards and forwards, and it takes it off no problem at all. I will again leave links to as much as I can, including the canister filter, in the description box below. We have been using this particular one. It is a Sun, and we've been using it now for, I think it's 3 years. I know that it is a long time. We've not had any issues with it whatsoever. As you can see, it is absolutely disgusting. It's 7 weeks. It might actually be 8, but I know it's certainly 7. I usually keep it on my calendar and have my notifications tell me when it's due to be done, and I think it is about 7 weeks, because I think we went over an extra week. We usually do it every 6 weeks, because in that tank we do feed a fair amount with there being so many fish, so it does get pretty nasty in there. It is the only filter other than a sponge filter at the other end of the tank, but the only reason we really have the one at the other end of the tank is more sort of for aeration, so that the bubbles go up and create water flow at that end of the tank. So this is really one of the nasty jobs when it comes to doing the aquarium. Thankfully I get the good part. I get to film it and my husband gets to clean it. So we do replace some of the pads on this because they do get sort of beyond reusable. I mean, I guess you could redo it. We did try with this one, but it just fell apart, so we did end up replacing it. But as you can see, the ones underneath are pretty clean, and that's usually the case. The ones underneath sort of catch some of the particles, and then it's usually the one on the top that ends up absolutely disgusting. So like I say, this is the foul part of owning fish, especially when you have a bigger tank. We have to do it to keep the fish healthy. So once we're done with cleaning all these out, we then go ahead and replace the pads that were just not salvageable. Usually we find that it is the finer pads, because they're the ones that are going to get most of the particles from the water. Once we've done that, we then take the canister out and we go ahead and feed our plants outside. Aquarium water is exceptionally good for plants, and so our plants on the porch only ever get aquarium water. And hose out the canister, and for those of you that are panicking because there is biomedia in the bottom, this media that we have in the bottom is not for that purpose. We put it in there to displace the water flow when it comes up and into the canister. That way you've sort of got an uneven flow, as opposed to the water trying to find the quickest way. We got this idea from the Pond Guru, and I have to say that it does work really, really well. So we don't really have any issue with cleaning it all off, and yes, you're probably killing off most of the bacteria. However, it's just that it's there for the water placement, so it doesn't really matter in this instance. The rest of it, obviously, we did clean with aquarium water. The other aquarium water there that you see in the bucket, that also then goes on our plants as well. A lot of our plants don't actually get hit by the rain because of where they are, so we do need to water them. So this is an excellent way of doing it. Once everything is clean and done, then we just obviously hook up the canister back to the tank with the pipes, and that's when we start filling the tank back up. So to fill the tank, we use a pond pump. We don't do buckets running backwards and forwards. We have a pond pump in the bucket, and then we have a pipe that runs into the tank. We usually put the prime water conditioner into that little bowl there. We also put some into the bucket, and that way the water that's initially coming through is treated, and then anything else that's going into the tank is then also treated. Everyone has different ways of doing it. For this works really well for us, and it's never caused us any issues. Also, with the filling up of the tank, we put the bucket in so that it doesn't really displace the substrate and it doesn't stir things up. Although in this tank, because obviously it really was really bad, it is going to take a while for it to clear, but once the canister filter gets working, then it doesn't usually take too long for the tank to completely clear up. Once the tank is almost full, we then set the canister going, and that is usually when you start pumping through, you do end up with a load of mess coming out of the pipes, and that is then obviously going to circulate back around the tank, and the canister will then pick it back up. So as you can see here, it has thrown out a ton of muck, and that will have been sort of in the pipes, along with obviously just the canister flushing out itself. But it didn't take too long. I think it was about 2.5 hours, and then the tank was really clear again. Once we start feeding, which I had just done here, again you can see there are some particles, but that will soon clear up. That's just normal with the feeding of the fish. So when it comes to deep cleaning, I guess it depends on how you define deep cleaning. A lot of people define it by a deep clean is you literally take everything out the tank and you scrub it, you clean it, you rinse it, you wash it, call it what you like, and then you put it back in. To me, that is the worst thing you can possibly do for a tank, because you are going to kill off so much of the bacteria that lives on the surface of things. Also, a lot of people will also replace completely everything within the filtration at the same time, and you are essentially going to cause a huge ammonia spike if you do that, because you're going to destroy the cycle. So you should never ever completely clean a tank, as in every single thing in it. You need to do it sort of in stages if you want to do a complete clean like that. Personally, I don't really see why you need to. I've never ever done a deep clean on an aquarium. So to me, a deep clean, yes, I guess it is take everything out, clean everything. So in this instance, what we've done today would not be classed as a deep clean. I know a lot of people will have had an issue with the fact that we did a large water change. We always do 50% on this tank, and the fact that we did clean the canister filter with it. We have always done it that way, and it has never ever affected anything. There is enough bacteria in that canister, even though you are cleaning it all, to maintain everything. I do always check the water parameters, and we've never had an issue. We do that with all our tanks. All our tanks get filter cleanings on the same day as we do water changes. That is just our personal preference, and it is what works for us. So let me know in the comments box below what you class as a deep clean and what you do on your tank when you do a good cleaning. To me, this is like a really good cleaning. It's definitely not what I would define as a deep clean. Alright guys, thanks for watching. If you're not subscribed, then go ahead and click that subscribe button, and don't forget to hit the notification bell, and we will see you next time.